So, Ms. Pensotti, η Ιταλία βρίσκεται στο επίκεντρο του ενδιαφέροντος των ξένων μέσων ενημέρωσης για ακόμα μία φορά, αλλά και των αγορών. Η ερώτηση πάντως είναι μία. Μπλοφάρει ο Μπερλουσκόνι? Είναι πραγματική απειλή του αυτή τη φορά?
Well, his threats are no doubt for real in the sense that he has made it very clear by demanding that 5 ministers of the cabinet step down over the weekend, which was a very strong move, especially when the Italian government is in a very delicate situation when it should be passing a stability law by the 15th of October, when it should be passing a new electoral law before going back to elections. So clearly, he means business. The question is, what is this for? Is this for the good of the people, the good of his party, or is it for himself? Remember also that on Friday, the 4th of October, Silvio Berlusconi's case will be evaluated by a committee, a Senate committee, that if they vote yes, they will send the vote for the banning of Silvio Berlusconi from the Senate to the Senate and the Parliament for a vote. So he ultimately, according to many, is creating havoc in order to avoid having to go to that point.
However, Ms. Pensotti, could μπορεί να αντέξει η Ιταλική οικονομία μια πολιτική κρίση, ειδικά αυτή την περίοδο? Έχουμε δει ήδη τις επιπτώσεις στις αγορές, στο Ιταλικό χρηματιστήριο, αλλά και τις προειδοποιήσεις από τον Fitch και την Goldman Sachs σε περίπτωση πρόωρων εκλογών, ότι θα υπάρξει τουλάχιστον υποβάθμιση της Ιταλικής οικονομίας.
Yes, these warnings did come out. Fitch did say, that they are concerned that Italy does not move forward, especially with the stability law that I just mentioned moments ago. So they've made it very clear that they do want this government to find a solution. Remember also that the president of Italy, Giorgio Napolitano, also said, this is last night on Sunday, that he wants to try and get this government to get a second mandate. Why is this? He does not want to go to elections without a new electoral law, because not only would elections create a potential downgrade on behalf of the rating agencies, but it would also create a situation in which Italy would be at a standstill. They would lose more time, they wouldn't pass the stability law, and many other actions that need to be taken would not be taken, like the structural reforms. So instead of going to the president to resign, Enrico Letta had a discussion with him and they decided that they're moving forward. This does bode for the fact that some of the dissidents of Silvio Berlusconi's party may actually support Enrico Letta in this new sort of temporary government. So he needs to work on the numbers, which is what he's doing until Wednesday when he goes at 9:30 in the morning to the Senate, and then at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday he will go to the Parliament, to the lower house. And he is working very hard today and will do again tomorrow to try and get the support of Monti's party, Scelta Civica, of the dissidents of the Movimento 5 Stelle, of Beppe Grillo, as well as the dissidents of Silvio Berlusconi. Also note that the comments coming out from some of his biggest supporters, like Angelino Alfano, who is the vice premier right now, the vice prime minister, who has been the closest ally of Silvio Berlusconi, saying that he is also considering whether he will take part of Forza Italia. Remember that that's also what has happened, is that Silvio Berlusconi is so upset with what is going on that he has revived his old party that he had founded some 20 years ago called Forza Italia. So, even his own closest collaborators may actually be understanding that Silvio Berlusconi is sort of maybe going too far.
However, if that εάν όλα αυτά δεν συμβούν και τελικά υπάρξει πολιτική κρίση στην Ιταλία, ποιες θα ήταν τότε οι επιπτώσεις για την Ευρωζώνη και ποια τα μηνύματα των Βρυξελών? What have been the messages from Brussels so far?
Well, clearly with Brussels, the idea was that, Saccomanni, who is the economy minister, had accepted this role of economy minister under this Letta government only under the agreement that we abide by the deficit level of 3.0%. We just came out of the observation period in the month of May, just this summer. So he sort of promised that he would take this role and promised that that's the objective he would aim for. So Italy, by that standpoint, is not asking Brussels for an exclusion from that pact of the 3%. Some say that they should, but Saccomanni doesn't want to. So he wants to put into place some sales of real estate assets that the country holds, and he wants to put into action some reforms that will help boost some of the fiscal entries in order for Italy to go back to that level of 3.0%, in order for Brussels not to have anything to say to Italy. But of course, it's just a very small margin of space where they can work because of the fact that these structural reforms have not been made, especially the one on employment. Also, Letta, remember that just last week he was in New York speaking to the financial community to promote foreign direct investment into Italy, right when Berlusconi was announcing a mass resignation of all of his party members from parliament. So the work that needs to be done always, unfortunately, takes a step back. So to answer your question, as far as Brussels is concerned and the numbers are concerned, maybe Italy can hold out for a little longer. But sooner or later, it's going to explode unless you actually face it by making the structural reforms. So if we do go to elections, may the best man win, and may they be able to actually somehow govern the country in order to bring it to the electoral reform and then go once again back to elections. Let's say it's going to be a very long process.
And last but not least, Ms. Pensotti, regarding the European South, όσον αφορά τον Ευρωπαϊκό Νότο, υπάρχει χώρος για τη δημιουργία μιας συμμαχίας του Νότου έναντι του Βορρά, ειδικά μετά τις γερμανικές εκλογές? Γιατί έχουμε ακούσει πολλές φορές για τη δημιουργία ενός συνασπισμού ή μια συμμαχία των χωρών του Νότου και έως τώρα δεν έχουμε δει να πραγματοποιείται. As a reply towards the German fiscal policy for the Eurozone. However, we haven't seen anything like that, so far at least.
Yeah, to be honest, I just don't think Italy is in that space right now. I think Italy wants to be part of those northern countries. It still sees itself as an important economy, the seventh largest economy of the world, and so I think that it would be a union of the weak if that were the direction that they would take. And the Italians right now, I feel like, are really concentrated on trying to solve this decades and decades worth of political malfunctioning. And honestly, Italy can make it alone. Italy has a high savings rate. Italy is very wealthy. The Italian family households have high savings rates in Italy. And Italy, in terms of its state holdings, has a lot of assets that it can still sell and companies it can privatize. So it's a wealthy country by all means. It just needs to get its political act together. So I think that an alliance of the South, as far as Italy is concerned, is something that's a bit far-fetched for now.